Start recording. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our August monthly grant session for this year, where we are going to discuss all things contract packets. So you've been awarded. What's next? Contract packets. I'm Amber Westbrook with the South Carolina Arts Commission grants team. And today we're just going to go over how to complete that contract packet, where to find your contract, and just a little bit more emphasis on specific sections of your contract packet, what to do if you do have a fiscal receiver, and then also we'll lightly touch on what to do when you are a school receiving a grant in terms of who signs it and how to complete that process. All right, so we're going to start with a screen share today. There we go. Let's do the whole screen. Nice reminder, any grant management notifications you receive, which also from your contract packet notification, it will come from administrator@grantinterface.com. So anything as far as letting you know a pay request is available or your final report is available for you to complete, it will all come from this administrator@grantinterface.com. So please make sure to check your spam. But if it is going to your spam, please make sure to make that a safe contact. All right. So we're gonna go to your contract packet. So I didn't want to make this humongous. Mike, is that a good print right there? Okay. From the administrator grant interface communication, it'll look something like this. It'll be a congratulations and then stating that your contract packet is now available within our grants portal. If you do not see that your contract packet is available, some do receive just a notification of their award at the beginning and that their contract packet will become available, which then you'll receive another email notification. But based on whether you have a fiscal receiver or are doing third-party signature within a school, you'll get specific instructions. So it's really important that you pay attention to receiving this email notification, which has all these instructions on how to proceed and completing your contract packet. So the example we're doing today is going to have a fiscal receiver on it. So we're going to go over there to our fiscal receiver. It literally guides you through where to start with your grant management instructions page, which if we do click on it, it will bring you straight there. Help kind of give you a basic checklist of what to look for. Again, you can go through this as you need to in your own time. Again, for grantees, we're using a fiscal receiver, grantees not using a fiscal receiver. Details around your pay request. More information on publicity and crediting. And again, this is where you'll find that press kit, which has a little bit more of like what logos to use on your website, etc. Let's see. Again, reiterating to read your entire contract, legal compliances, and reporting requirements, because it is very specific to your contract. So let's go ahead back over to our contract notification. So we've seen our grant management instructions. We're good, we don't need that anymore. Then we'll go ahead and go into the grants portal. I won't click on this because it will log me back out, but this link takes you directly to that login page. We're going to want to use your username and password that's associated with your organization to log in and head to your applicant dashboard. All right. So on your applicant dashboard, you'll want to find your particular process. Now within this, it will have it labeled for you, your FY21, and in this case, we're just using an operating support general contract packet as an example. So you want to make sure to find that, and then it will tell you to go to your documents uploaded by grants team. This is really important because this is the PDF that is your grant contract. So you'll see documents uploaded by grants team. You'll click to download. Sometimes mine are set to automatically pop up, but sometimes you'll have to go into your downloads and open up your contract. Now we're going to take a few moments just to go through, briefly go through the important things to note within your contract. Now, again, this one is specific to someone with a fiscal receiver. So you'll see that it has a benefiting organization, which is the Sealy Arts organization, but then the contractor, which is the fiscal receiver, Demo Enterprises. That'll have that authorized official for your fiscal receiver, your benefiting organization, that main contact. So you'll want to double check, make sure all the contact information is correct. This is where you'll see your grant award, then the required match, your total minimum project expenses that we need to see in order for you to receive your full grant award. You'll have project dates here. Again, this is just an example. It's a little bit of a mishmash. Operating support grantees don't get too excited because you'll know usually for operating support, it'll be from July to June of the following year. Final reports most of the time are due in mid-August. But this is just an example of a few project dates. Typically, we'll have final report due at least like 30 days after the end of that project. So again, important to note here, your final report. The grant award payment section. Now, each contract is unique to your particular project and your grant category. So it's very important that you look over your grant award payment section. For example, with this operating support grant, we have a maximum of 2 interim payments. And then you'll also notice that final payment is released upon approval of a final pay request. This is one of the only grant categories that will have this verbiage within, because we have to pay out, well, all of our grants by the end of June. But this one in particular, because there is a final report that is due mid-August, it is important for us to state this, that there is a final pay request, and those are usually due within the month of June. Another example of payment language you might see is a maximum of 2 interim payments up to 80% of your award, which will be mentioned within this question. So it is very important that you specifically look at this section of your grant contract. Again, may not exceed the amount awarded. It'll give you the percentage of the total cost of the allowable grant project expenses, or whichever is less. That also is unique to your particular grant project or grant category. Then this one is a little bit more, we'll talk about like project related activities, but grant activities, any proposed changes, and it is outlined here, but we also like to reiterate that, especially with program directors, any proposed changes made to fund grant activities must be approved in writing in advance of that final report, so that we know, okay, this is the adjustment, you've officially been approved to make that adjustment, so nothing pops up and is a surprise at the end, because then it could get in a pretty sticky situation. Legislative notification. So for anyone who receives a grant from the Arts Commission is required to inform their state legislator of commission funding, unless we, the commission, specify an exemption. So we just like to reiterate that it is a requirement. It's also required to invite local legislative delegates to all grant-related events. Publicity and credits. So this again is specific to your grant category. Sometimes the language here will have a additional credit. This can be known for arts project support. Also, if anyone received the arts emergency relief, we had an additional credit here. So this always helps you, gives you the wording you need to properly give credit to funders. All right. To the next. Basic grant responsibilities. Benefiting organization agrees to pay all costs of grant activities. Most of our grants are reimbursement grants. So it is just stating that you understand you will be paying all of the costs up front, and we will be reimbursing you. Again, a reminder of the reporting, documentation requirements. Again, final report due. We'll always have the date here again for you. Audits and financial records. This again is just going over that we can you can be subject to an audit, or we can also request financial records at any time. So just to make sure that you understand that. This is again copyrights. This is specific for someone, a benefiting organization. Again, someone using a fiscal receiver. Just to be clear, who does have the copyright for those works productions. All right. Payment for interrupted services. We understand this section in particular. Some people like to just like zoom through, but in cases which we do have, some situations will come up, causes for a project not to happen. Again, this is kind of a rare occurrence, but it does happen. Just kind of lays out everything that would happen in that case. In the event of a grant's canceled, again, the contractor agrees to reimburse the commission within 30 days after the date of cancellation, any awarded funds, again, for the grant activities. But usually, please let us know as soon as you do, if there's like, again, this major change that needs to happen. We are always willing to work with you to see how we can help you complete a project. Again, a good example of this is with the COVID impact that has happened within the past year, switching from in-person to virtual. Again, something that is possible. We want to make sure we help you, just set you up for success. We rarely will try not to invoice if we can help it. Again, legal compliance is here. This section right here, I like to just go into, if someone does fall out of the federal tax exempt and South Carolina nonprofit status, please let us know. This is if your fiscal receiver has fallen out. Again, if you are having, your organization is having some issues, you're like, oh, I need to work this out, please let us know. Again, if you don't let us know, we find out after the fact, it is possible we can just terminate and then the award can become null and void. But again, please let us know. We are always willing to work with you. And then a little bit more information at the end there about grants, grant cancellation, recovery of funds, and other consequences. If for some reason there are any issues that arise and they're just not resolved, again, we will not leave you high and dry. We'll always try to contact you and work anything we can out. Then at the very bottom, you'll see when we need this contract packet signed by. And then at the very bottom, this is our electronic signature of this statement right here. Again, if you have any questions about your specific grant contract, we are always happy to answer any questions you have and walk through any specific sections with you. All right, so after you have reviewed your contract thoroughly and you've seen, okay, maybe there are some changes here. All right, now I'm like, well, how do I make those? So now we're gonna go ahead and click on the blue edit here for your contract packet. This will open up the form and make it available to you. You'll see that underneath your grant number, project name, there are contract updates. So this is the perfect place to put in those changes. If you've had a new grant contact, there is, oh, okay, well, this is my new number, anything like that, you can add in here. If you have had no changes, you can leave this blank, or you can simply put no changes. That's perfectly fine. Then after you're happy with everything within your grant contract, you understand, you click I agree. You'll want to put your signer's name in there. I'll do Kathy. Here we go. Hey, Kathy. and then your signer's title. So we're going to do executive director. Now, if this is different from above, sometimes there will be a different authorized official, then you want to put their name and their title. But if it's the same person, that's all you need to do is put your name, executive director, and you're perfect to move forward. Typically, this is where a grantee who's not using a fiscal receiver, it will end here, and it will ask you for a W-9 if that is requested. But typically, this is all we'll ask from you if we already have your W-9 on file, and you can click submit follow-up, and that is submitting your electronic signature. Now, if you do have a fiscal receiver, like this example does, this is our third-party signature, if you will. So you'll put that authorized official's email in here. I think we did demo at email.com. Here we go. It's fine. And this will pop up. So from here, it'll be a little bit easier. I'm going to hop over. Here we go. And make this a little bit bigger so everyone can see it. Just kind of want to go over what's next after you do compose an email. Again, to remind you, the contract packet notification we send you has all the instructions you need to complete this email to your fiscal receiver, what to tell them, and how to proceed with those next steps. But again, we always like to have this example here. Something very simple that we've put through. Dear so-and-so, please use the link emailed to you to submit your electronic signature approval for our FY21 grant, or again, whatever grant that is. I've also sent you another email from my other email containing the PDF of our school grant contract for you to review before you submit your signature. And again, this can be anything you need it to be to help express, hey, you're going to receive this link and you need to click on it. And please also review this grant contract. So I'm going to come back over here. So it's really large. Okay. Again, we have all these instructions for you. You'll need to put the email address of your fiscal receiver, which we did. You compose that email. You're going to have to send them a separate email containing the PDF of that grant contract, because they do not have access to see that same PDF document of your grant contract that they'll need to review before they just agree and sign. Again, that's all in here. And then the two questions are visible to the fiscal receiver. One is their agreement to the terms on the contract that they'll review, and then the other is their name. Let me hop over to this so you can see it better. Best practice I like to do when you are composing your email, save it in a Word document if you can, or notes before you hit send, because then you're not going to be able to retrieve it. In case there is a situation where they didn't receive it, you have to somehow recompose and resend your email. It's just great to have that on hand. So once you do send, you hit send up here, it will tell you the email was sent. So you will see that. You'll get some kind of receipt there. What they will see. So your fiscal receiver will receive an email. Again, administrator@grantinterface.com is where they receive it from. It will say, please visit this site and fill out any questions listed. It'll kind of give applicant information. So this site is what they're going to click on. This is the first email they will receive. Again, this goes into spam sometimes, so it's okay to just kind of let them know. Please look at something from administrator@grantinterface.com. Second email is what you composed. It'll have that message in there, and then it'll also be, okay, I need to look for another email coming from you with that grant contract. Once they click, let me see, there it is. Haha, I'm gonna pass it. Once they click this site, they're going to go in to their third-party dashboard, and they're going to see these. Again, it's clicking I agree and then typing in their full name here and then hitting submit. Once they've submitted, they also receive a confirmation. Thank you for submitting your response, and you can review it by clicking view completed responses. We understand in some cases, third-party signers will have many different completed responses in the case of superintendents or principals who work at more than one school. But otherwise, you should only see one for that particular. All right. So then, once they have completed their section, you'll go back into your contract packet and you will see, oh, their response was submitted when and the time. So that you're like, okay, now I can proceed. If I have the signature, I can then submit my contract packet. So we'll go ahead and do that and hit submit follow-up. Now, in the event that we need a updated W-9 from you, or in this case, with a fiscal receiver, we're going to need the fiscal receiver's W-9 form. So if it's requested, you will have this section right here, which states when you W-9, we have this link to a blank W-9 form if you need it, but you'll click upload file, upload what you need, and then that should be the last piece. If you have everything, you've gotten I agree, your signer's name, you have received a response, and you've uploaded your W-9, click your submit follow-up, and you are finished. All right. So another thing I just want to touch on, which I said I would, again, reiterating, again, don't look at that top section. We have specific instructions for those schools who are to fill out their contract packet, which is requesting a signature from their principal and their superintendent. Again, we have all instructions here stating, okay, they don't have access, what you need to do and how you need to complete it. So it is really important that you look back through those and follow those instructions as best you can. If you have any questions with that, we're always here to help you. This same demonstration we just used where it'll say like fiscal receiver's email, you'll have a section that will state superintendent email, principal's email. You'll treat both the same. So again, really great if you want to go ahead and copy and paste the same email to both of them is perfectly acceptable. And again, if you have any issues, we're always here to help you through that process. Other things I just wanted to go over for our veterans out there, we do know sometimes things will change throughout the year, such as a name change, or you'll have an address change for your organization. If that does occur, we will need an updated W-9 from you. If you don't have this available because we're like, oh, we have what we need from you, it's perfectly fine. Please email us and let us know. We're also working to incorporate a place where you could update this information within a pay request. But please contact us and we will help make that right, because it is very important that we get the appropriate information, especially the address on these items. Let me go back to this section. Sorry, let me make this again a little smaller. Goodbye. On every single contract packet notification, you will have this information here, which is signing up for electronic payment. On the W-9, if you are receiving checks still, that check will be sent to the address that's on your W-9, and it's out of our hands. We're unable to make any changes with that. So even more of an incentive to do the electronic payment direct deposit process. So we basically provide this link, which goes straight to the South Carolina State Treasurer's office. and to their associated forms. We cannot process any of their forms. So please just go through this. It can take up to 30 days for them to process that, but then you will be able to start receiving electronic payments, and it is a much smoother process, and I have heard it's much faster. So just, again, another incentive there to sign up for that. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do have a few more scheduled monthly grants coaching sessions. Next up for September is payments and payment requests. And then we also have planned for October our application questions and answers for what's going to be opening up in fall. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at grants@arts.sc.gov. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for joining.